Students, let's start third chapter in IED, Liberalization, Privatization and Globalization. Now, learning objectives, introduction, reasons for economic reforms, the new economic policy, liberalization, privatization, globalization and appraisal of LPG policies. Now we'll see introduction. India followed the mixed economic system by combining the market economic system, that is capitalist economy, and the planned economic system, that is socialist economy. The public sector dominated the control and regulation of our economy, and the private sector was ignored. There was a huge investment in the public sector and very low investment in the private sector. The dominance of public sector led to establishment of various rules and laws, which hampered the process of growth and development. Now, let's move on to reasons for economic reforms: poor performance of public sector, deficit in balance of payment, inflationary pressure, fall in foreign exchange reserve, huge burden of debts, inefficient management. First, we'll see poor performance of public sector. Public sector was assigned an important role to work for the economic development of India. Except for few public enterprises, the overall performance was very disappointing. So huge losses incurred by a good number of public and sector enterprises. The government recognized the need for making necessary reforms. Second, BOP. Deficit in BOP arises when foreign payment for imports exceed foreign receipts from export. Even after imposing heavy tariff and fixing the quotas, there was a sharp rise in import. There was a slow growth of export due to low quality and high prices of Indian goods in the international market. Now we'll move to inflationary pressures. There was a consistent rise in the general price level in the economy due to increase in money supply and shortage of essential goods. Fall in foreign exchange reserve. In 1991, foreign exchange reserves fell to the lowest level, and it led to the foreign exchange crisis in the country. So, foreign exchange reserves declined to a level that was not adequate. The fifth point, huge burden of debts. The expenditure of the government was much higher than revenue. As a result, government had to borrow money from bank, public and from international financial institutions. Inefficient management. The government was not able to generate sufficient revenue from international sources such as taxation, running of public sector, enterprises, etc. Government expenditure began to exceed its revenue by such large margin that it became unsustainable. Yes, now let's move on to the crisis of 1991 forced India for financial help from IMF and World Bank. To manage the economic crisis of 1991, Indian government approached the IBRD, that is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, that is popularly known as the World Bank, and IMF received 7 billion as a loan. For availing the loan, these international agencies expected India to liberalize and open up the economy, removing restriction on the private sector, reducing the role of the government in many areas, and removing the trade restriction. India agreed to the condition of World Bank and the IMF and announced the new economic policy. The new economic policy was announced in July 1991. It consisted of a wide range of economic reforms. The main aim of the policy was to create more competitive environment in the economy and remove the barriers to entry and growth of firms. Measures of new economic policy. There are two measures. One, stabilization measure. Two, structural reform measure. Stabilization measure refers to short-term measure. Yes, correcting the weaknesses of the balance of payment by maintaining sufficient foreign exchange reserve. Second one, will be calling it as controlling inflation by keeping the rising prices under control. Second, we'll just move on to structural reform measure, that is refers to long-term measure. improving the efficiency of the economy, and increasing the international competitiveness by removing the rigidities in various segments of the Indian economy. Now, main policy of new economic policy. The first one, liberalization. Second one, privatization. Third one, globalization. Liberalization. Liberal. What is meant by liberal? It is nothing but liberalization, which refers to laws or rules being liberalized or relaxed by a government. We'll be calling it as a liberalization. Liberalization refers to relaxation of previous government restrictions, usually in the area of social and economic policies. Thus, when government liberalizes trade, it means it has removed the tariff and subsidies and other restriction on the flow of goods and services between the country. Liberalization. The fruits of liberalization reached their peak in 2007 when India recorded its highest GDP growth rate of 9%. With this, India became the second fastest growing major economy in the world, next only to China. The growth rate was slowed significantly in the first half of 2012. In OECD, report states that the average growth rate, 7.5%, will double in a decade, and more reforms could split up the space. Industrial sector reforms. There are 4 reforms in the liberalization. The first one can speak about industrial sector reforms. Second one, financial sector reform. Third one, foreign exchange reserves. And we'll just move with the first one, industrial sector reforms. Industrial sector reforms was among the first sector to be liberalized in India in a series of measures. Industrial licensing has been abolished except in a small number of sectors where it has been retained and strategic consideration. First, we will see industrial sector reforms are abolition of industrial licensing, restrictions were removed on expansion, reduction in the reservation of public sector. The first one, abolition of industrial licensing. The new policy abolished industrial licensing for all the projects except for a short list of industries like liquor, defense expenditure, industrial explosives, etc. No license were needed for what and all? To set up new units or expand or diversify the existing line of manufacturing. Second, we move to restrictions were removed on expansion. One of the striking features of the substantive reduction in the role of public sector in the future industrial development of the country, the number of industries exclusively reserved for the public sector reduced from 17 to only 3 industries. Which are the industries which come under the defense expenditure, atomic energy generation, and railway transport. Third, reduction in the reservation of public sector. Many goods produced by small scale industries now have been de-reserved. That is, the investments ceilings on plant and machinery for small undertakings enhanced from rupee 1 crore. In many industries, the market were allowed to determine the prices through forces of the market. Now, we'll just